Yeah,
Hi, hi, Anthony. How are you, man?
I'm fine. How are you? It's been a while.
Yeah, man. I remember the last time we chatted, it was on quite an interesting topic. So today we'll have more insights from you, especially on another interesting topic, which is regarding the US and Nigeria relations, because I know there's been a lot of news on that recently. So my opening question to you is, right, how would you describe the current state of Nigeria-US relations, and what key events have shaped it in recent months?
Well, Nigeria and US has always had good relations. Okay, there have always been a good relationship between Nigeria and US. So, but present, now. Presently, that relationship has been and why this is so is due to maybe security and economic interest. Okay,
Uh-huh.
because the US has been criticizing um, the Nigerian government about the killings of Christians
Yeah.
in the state, in the country. Sorry,
Yeah.
there are a lot of killings, a lot of genocide, and, so this is actually the main reason why the U.S. government has been criticizing the Nigerian government. Why allowing this type of situation to happen. And the U.S. Is Nigeria's top foreign investor when we are regarding to the oil and gas sector. Okay, Nigeria is very rich in oil and gas, but US remains the number one top foreign investor in that area. So, and of course, the US has been providing aid, to Nigeria to support Nigeria. But this tension right now, uh, this relationship that is strained right now, currently under
Yeah.
Donald Trump administration, it has actually that it's not the same relationship during Joe Biden, the outgoing
Mm.
president. So the relationship under Trump is strained. You know, so so many things has happened even before Donald Trump criticizing the government. So many incidences have happened before then. This senator, one U.S. senator, I think Senator Ted. Uh, he was the one who talked about, the Christian persecution and killing of 3,100 Christians died in Nigeria, and over 2,000 people were kidnapped by terrorists. You know, so and the U.S. government has been criticizing this. Senator Ted once brought this to light.
Mm. Mm.
This incident happened in October. Then in October, the incident happened in September when the senator brought it out to the public. Then the upper month, which is October, um, Trump publicly described Nigeria as a country of particular concern. And when any country that has been, listed into that CPC, country of particular concern, once you have been described, you know, it's like a nation that has been blacklisted. So, and the purpose for that is due to religious freedom violations, and apart from that, he's threatening sanctions on Nigeria.
Mm.
So these incidents happened in October. Then also in November, Trump threatened, though he hasn't carried out the action, but he just threatened that if there's
Mm.
no changes in this, that he's going to introduce the military. He's going to introduce the military. He's going to bring, airstrikes. Going to bring troops, to see if this is going to stop. And once this happens, this can escalate into a war. And I can confidently tell you now that Nigeria as a country is not ready for any kind of war, not with the
Mm.
US, because already internally we are already facing our own war. We are facing terrorism, war of terrorism. We are facing war of economic. The economy in Nigeria is terrible. We are facing Food, there's food scarcity, food inflation. Our currency is in a mess right now. Unemployment is terrible. So internally, we are facing a war, and Nigeria remains the most populated country in Africa. So we have the population, and once Nigeria is shaking, indirectly it affects other African countries as well. So this incident, Trump threatened if there's no solution or nothing, he's going to introduce the military. And lastly, one of our government officials, his name is Ribadu. Maybe you can check him up. No, Ribadu. He wants on November. This happened within this week. He visited the U.S. officials in Washington to see. He visited on behalf of the president. Okay, he's a government official on behalf of the Nigerian government. He visited Washington November 24th to see if there's any way they can negotiate to renew security ties, to just have a negotiation to soften these threats from the US government. But so far, so good. The current state of Nigeria-US relation is strained. It's strained. It's strained.
Yeah. All right. What are the biggest opportunities for cooperation between Nigeria and the US right now, especially in areas like security, trade, and technology?
Well, in security, um, well, in terms of security, I would say I think instead of the US government to be threatening the Nigerian government with military and airstrikes and drones and sanctions, you know, I think the biggest opportunity for cooperation here is for the US to use their military. I think the US have the biggest military in the world, or yeah, their military is the biggest in the world. Okay, and they are the superpower. So
Hmm.
they can use their military to intervene and help us to fight these terrorists. Because the truth of the matter is, most of these terrorists doing this are not Nigerians. They are from neighboring African countries, sponsored by politicians to cause unrest. And funny enough, most of these sponsors has links with Americans and Europeans, because what they
Yep.
do is when they cause this war going, then behind the back they go there to drain our resources, because Nigeria has so many resources. So they cause war and they go behind our back to drain our oil, to drain our gold, our diamond, and so what. So yes, so indirectly they have a hand in this. They are the ones who sponsor these terrorists. These terrorists come from the neighboring countries and kill people, commit all these crimes. It's not done by Nigerians. It's done by neighboring countries. And these politicians sponsor them with weapons, sponsor them with food, whatever they need, and they stay in the desert. They stay in the desert in thick bushes. Okay, so the U.S. government can help us to fish out the locations of where these terrorists are. They have the
Mhm.
weapons, they have the technology to do that. So instead of threatening on and raining, you know, all this threat of sanction, they can help us to fight these terrorists. Yeah, in terms of security. Okay, then in terms of trade, you ask of
Yeah.
trade. Yeah,
Yeah.
we Nigeria still remains. We are top crude oil, producers. That's our main source of revenue. We have cocoa. We have so many resources. They can help us to improve on our resources. Yeah, we can have, because there are things that they need from us, and there are things we need from them. So
Yeah.
there can be a cooperation, in terms of trade, from the resources and that. So we can do that, like example, Dangote, Maliko Dangote, the richest man in Africa, is from Nigeria. He built a refinery. It's like a private refinery, and it's like the biggest refinery in Africa. So he's producing, crude oil, and from crude oil he mines it to gas or fuel. I don't know what you guys call it. We call it fuel. Some countries call it gas, fuel, gas. He mines it with his refinery because in the past, what used to be done is once we get this crude oil, we ship it to Europe and America. They help us and mine it to gas or, or fuel. Then we buy it. And when we are buying it, we have to buy it with dollars. We cannot even buy it with our currency. We buy it in dollars and we import back as crude oil. So, this has been going for years. And
Yeah.
most of our politicians, including Europeans that have so many oil companies, so they are the ones that use their businesses to do this and enrich themselves. Until Dangote came up and said no. So Dangote came and built a refinery, and at least there's a kind of a relief in the oil and gas sector. So the US can come into that if they really are concerned about Nigeria, if they really want to do business with Nigeria. There's so many opportunities in trade, so many. Then in technology, of course, we know now the number one technology now is AI. AI is not the number one. That is the trending technology. You talk of AI, you talk of robotics, you talk of yeah. Those are the main things. That's the top thing now in technology. And Nigeria as a country is down in that area. We are not yet onto that level. So the US can partner with us in technology. They can come and invest in technology, build these technologies, empower our youths. Majority of our youths who are unemployed, empower them in this, and they become self-employed, and we increase our relations from there. So yes, I think this is what they should do. There should be a dialogue. They can send their official, just like Nuru Ribadu has gone to meet with them to discuss with them. They can also Donald Trump too can also send his officials come to with dialogue and discuss. We can dialogue. Just as I told you, there can be some reforms in the trade and technology sector.
Mhm.
Okay, as well as the aids they have been offering. So yeah, I think once all this has been done, or once all these are being implemented, for sure, definitely, it will definitely aid um cooperation between both countries. It will.
All right.
Yeah.
I have a question for you in the comments here. This is from Resh Chitan. Hi, Anthony. Having this refuted this many times, is Nigeria a predominant Islamic state or freedom of all religions are practiced?
Okay. Nigeria is a state that is dominant in Islam and Christianity. These are the two major religions in Nigeria: Islam and Christianity. Okay, so but Islam are the violent ones, the aggressive ones. They are the ones who want to Islamize everywhere. So but Christians are not that way. So, but the dominant religions in both countries, Islam and Christian, and freedom of all religions are they practiced for sure. There are other religions in Nigeria. We have Judaism here. We have Hinduism. There are people who practice Hinduism here. We have our African traditional practices. That is my religion. I practice
Mhm.
African religion. That's the religion of my ancestors. I don't practice religion of Christianity that was brought to Africa by the Europeans. Neither do I practice a religion of Islam that was brought by the Arabians. I practice the religion of our ancestors. That is traditional African religion. So that's mine. Yeah, and we also have people who don't even believe in anything. I think we call them atheists or something. So those
Yeah,
ones, they
yeah.
have their own philosophy. Yeah, they have their own philosophy and whatever. So yeah, there's freedom of religion. Whatever religion you want to practice in Nigeria, there's freedom for that. Yeah.
All right. There have been many tensions around visa policies, security concerns, and governance issues. How do you think both countries can rebuild trust?
Okay. Yeah. Rebuilding trust is just like what I said earlier. First of all, dialogue.
Mhm.
Both countries can
Okay.
come together and dialogue, to meet, talk about genocide and facts. Try to see if they can. Um, Hello, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Okay, try to check facts because due to these incidences that have been happening,
Mhm.
so many propaganda is flying online, flying on social media. And propaganda is what sells news. That's what gives the media so much money. So, yeah, but once both countries come together and dialogue and do fact checking, for sure there'll be official release, on the true situation of things on the internet. Official release from American state government, official release from Nigerian government to say, okay, this is the fact, this is what we have discussed about, this is what we have resolved, and this is the way forward. Okay? Then there should also be targeted reforms. I also talked about that. Okay, the US have concerns in terms of security. Number one, security. So yes, there can be reforms in security, and it's just what I said earlier. US can help us, as they can collaborate with us with their military strength, with their technology, which we are lacking, which most of them we don't have. They can help us fight with us and eradicate these terrorists. They can eradicate all the terrorists in Nigeria within 1 week if they want to. Yes, I'm telling you that here confidently. With their technology, they can fish out where all these terrorists are in the bushes, in the deserts. With their technology, they can fish them out within 1 week if the US want to do that. But as I told you earlier, there are powerful forces behind these terrorists, bringing these terrorists, sponsoring these terrorists. So when there's a war, then behind they'll be mining and draining out the resources. Once they are done with the draining of the resources, you see the terrorists will now calm down. This is the game that has been happening for long. We know all these things. So now the US government, specifically Donald Trump, I believe Donald Trump is not that kind of guy. Yes, he's a straightforward person. So if he's really interested in ensuring that all these killings and genocide will stop in Nigeria, then for sure he should assist us with his military to reform
Yeah.
our
All
military,
right.
and they can wipe it
All
out.
right. Okay. All right. There's another comment question for you over here. This is from Cosmos NG Juru 8975. Okay. The question is, my brother, US is not threatening Nigeria. They are saying, sort this mess out or we sort it out for you.
Yeah, they are saying they're saying they should sort this mess out, or we sort out for you. Now, when
Yeah.
a country says we are going to sort out your mess for you if you cannot sort it out, what do you think it is? Of course, it's a threat, because what they are trying to say is, number one, this is a mess in our
Mm-hmm.
country, and number one, our we are incapable of
Mm.
resolving this mess. Meanwhile, just as I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
the US and the Europeans, they are indirectly behind these terrorists.
Hmm.
So
Perfect.
Donald Trump, as a
Mhm.
president, he knows what to do. This is not about threat or no threat or mess or no mess. Donald Trump knows what to do, and that's what I'm saying. That's the thing I'm saying here. Okay, if they want this to end indefinitely, then it should aid the Nigerian government with its military and technology, and terrorism will end automatically in Nigeria. That's the only
Wow.
solution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nigeria's economic struggles and currency instability have drawn international attention. What role, if any, should the US play in supporting Nigeria's economic recovery? Fine, you may have answered that, but you can maybe just add in a few more things there. Oh, oh, hello? Did you
Yes.
get my?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. I'm here now. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was meaning like, did you
I
get my
can.
question?
Please repeat your question again. I think the network.
Oh, oh, sure, sure. I said Nigeria's economic struggles and currency instability have drawn international attention. What role, if any, should the US play in supporting Nigeria's economic recovery? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I mentioned it earlier. In terms of economic recovery, the US can help us in aid and financing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Uh-huh.
Especially in health programs. There are so many health programs and so many economic programs they can aid us with. They can give us loans for infrastructure. There are things they can do. They know what to do. Trust me, they know what to do. So to just summarize it, let me just summarize it: aid and
Yeah, yeah,
financing. If they assist
yeah, yeah.
us in that, for sure, our economy will recover. They can help us also with technical assistance. They can help us in that, not just finance. Technically, they can help us in that. You know, with that technical assistance, they can help us to revitalize our agricultural sector because
Mm-hmm.
before crude oil, Nigeria used to be the number one highest producer of cocoa, and it's from that cocoa you make coffee, and Americans love
Okay.
coffee too much. Yeah,
Yes.
you see it, they love coffee so much, but now we are no longer the number one producer of cocoa because we left that and faced crude oil. So they can offer us technical assistance. They can help us in that regard, in that aspect, instead of causing wars and stealing our resources.
Yeah.
They can come in here and build companies, build industries, and we have the cocoa here. We process it here, and and it becomes a partnership. Yeah, and with that, economically, Nigeria will rise and take its place in Africa. So yeah, I think with this aid, especially aid and financing and technical assistance, investment, once they do this, for sure, Nigeria economy will rise. We have all it takes for it to rise. We just need assistance, and the US is the perfect country to do that. That is what they should be doing as the world power if they are really concerned, not threatening us and telling us,
Yeah.
saying all sort of nonsense. That's not what's going to solve any problem. If you want to solve our problems, you come, you dialogue, and you do what you need to do. We work together. We gain and you gain, and we work as a team.
Uh, how do current
Feelings.
geopolitical shifts
Yeah.
like US-China competition affect Nigeria's position and foreign policy choices?
Mm. U.S. China competition. you know, I will tell you that China is the only country that is actually, threatening the U.S. Because China, and if the U.S. is not careful, China will be the next world power because China has everything the US have and even more. Okay, so yeah, but in terms of your question, the impact of their competition, ah, the impact of their competition well, number one, in Nigerian aspects, Nigeria also has a good relationship with China as well. Nigeria does lots of business with China, especially in technology. Mobile phones we use in Nigeria here is produced by China. Android phones. Majority of the Android phones we use here is produced by China, and majority of Nigerians use Android phones. It's just few people that use Apple,
Yeah.
Apple products, iPhones and that, but majority use Android. And these
Mm.
phones are produced by China, and they will bring it into this country. So yeah, you see, that's good business. They gain and we gain. So that's the direct um impact we have with China. So, but talking of the US China competition, well, just as I said early, um, like the US visas and the tariffs, and
Mhm.
China too, just like I told you, apart from investments, they also China secures lithium and gold from Nigeria. Yes, they secure lithium and gold from Nigeria. So yeah, with this impact of their competition,
Mhm.
China can take its chance to become Nigeria's biggest, you know, partner. If the US
Wow.
don't want to do that, China can rise and take use of that opportunity and do that. Yeah. So yeah, that's the impact, and it will have a major impact because I told you, Nigeria has the population. We have the population, and any markets that has a high population, for sure, will tend to profit. And Nigeria has that market. We have that population. So that's why China, of course, is doing business with us. So if the US don't take their time, if they keep threatening us and keep trying to play demigod or want to, start a war with us, China will take over and they will be our new partner and it will be our new team. And we'll pull out from anything that concerns US.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they
Oh,
can come with their
perfect.
sanctions and their bomb and whatever they want to come with. We are waiting for them.
Okay. All right. My final question to you is, looking ahead, what steps do you think Nigeria must take internally to strengthen its global partnership with the US?
Okay, well, that is based on our president now, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, and well, so far so good. I don't think he's interested in taking any step to strengthen the partnership. I don't think he has done enough because the only step so far is just what I told you earlier. A government official, Nuru Ribadu, who went there on behalf of Nigerian government to dialogue with the US on ways to soften the crisis. But if the Nigerian president, I'm referring to him directly because he constitutes the government, if he wants to reduce these strains and reduce, what has been broken and try to strengthen this relationship, for sure, he has to enhance the security. He has to enhance the security because Nigerian security is very, very terrible. Very, very, very terrible. So he as a president has to take that step, make a major step and enhance the security. Okay, and once the US government sees that, okay, he's making efforts to enhance the security, for sure, they are going to be impressed. They'll say, okay, at least the Nigerian government, they're doing something about this. Okay, that can strengthen partnership. Okay, then secondly, we need to reform our style of governance. Our style of governance in Nigeria here is also terrible. To be honest with you, very, very terrible. We need to enhance our government. We have a body, EFCC, Economic Financial Crime Commission. This is a government body that is responsible for anti-corruption. So, but this body is also corrupt. They are corrupt. They are not doing their job. They don't go after corrupt government officials. They rather go after Nigerian youths who are involved in online fraud, and maybe they get $100, $1,000, and they lock you in prison for 10 years. But the corrupt Nigerian politicians will go and launder billions of dollars and they go scot-free. So who is the bigger thief here? You
Yeah.
see? So there needs to be so much reforms in our governance. If the US also sees this, for sure, it will improve partnership. So yeah, and economic actions.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
in
Well,
terms
I'm
of the
good.
economic actions,
Uh-huh.
I was like, our major reliance is on crude oil. So
Okay.
the Nigerian government needs to diversify. We need to diversify our investments, not just focus on crude oil. We need to focus on agriculture. We need to focus on
Mhm.
all our resources. We have gold, we have diamond, we have lithium, we have cocoa, we name it. We are blessed with so many resources. Trust me, this country is blessed with so many resources. We need to diversify and focus on all these areas. And once we do that, for sure, our economy will improve, our GDP will improve, our earnings will improve. So once the US sees the present Nigerian government taking efforts in this area, for sure, it can improve the partnership and the relationship, and they can become a team. But for now, nothing like that is just a dream. For now, yes, buddy.
Yeah. Well, I gotta say thanks so much for your time and hope to catch up with you again in the future.
Thank you. It's always nice chatting with you. Thank you, bro.
Take care.